Well, I have officially started the recording, and I'm going to go ahead and start the timer so you guys can begin now.
Okay.
AI and its effect on workforce.
Artificial intelligence is technology system that replicates human intelligence. Its purpose usually is designed to make decisions easier based on real-time human interaction. So it can be used in policy making or just in other stuff that helps make life easier.
How artificial intelligence in the workforce affects employment, right?
So the lens we'll be exploring for our research question will be economic. So how AI will affect the workforce economically in the long run.
The different perspectives for our project is workers, government, and businesses. The topic that I will be doing is workers. One of the quotes that I found that helped explain more how AI will affect workers was from Elon Musk. He stated, computers, intelligent machines, and robots seem like the workforce of the future, and as more and more jobs are replaced by technology, people will have less work to do and ultimately will be sustained by payments from the government. People believe that AI will take over within the next 5 years by learning how to build higher technology produced by factors and supply chains. The most jobs that would be affected by this would be food industry, accountants, and manufacturing. Manufacturing was one of the most big hire that took with the AI. With people having a Echo Dot, smart devices, self-driving cars, wonder how much more they could do. Technology is all over the world, and people might not even realize how much they use technology. And because of this, it's automatic. The amount of money and increase of AI will be due to the workforce. A lot of people, jobs would be at risk, and their income won't have an effect. Based on this graph, it helps show the decreased amount of jobs that will have an income and won't show financial issues. All AI actors could make it easier in the workforce to help support humans in doing work more efficiency. For this slide, it shows the amount of which jobs would be more risk at the jobs. Manufacturing, like I said before, is going to be the most for it. And
So this quote is by Steve Hawking. It's the achievement of developing AI will be the best thing to the history of mankind. Sadly, it might also be the last one too, before we know how to make it minimize the danger. So I will be talking about the government. So AI will narrow down opportunity for people, and this will then send people into frenzy. And when that happens, they will look towards the government for a solution. And competition for jobs will become harder because of this, because AI will take up most of workers then. So then competition will narrow down and be hard. So the economy will be affected negatively because of this. So unemployment pay will be crucial in this, with the government trying to help people get back up and not affect and subdue the negative effect that it can affect people. So this chart right here shows what could happen, the prediction of what can happen. So this shows the division of labor in 2018. It was 71% for humans and only 29% for machines. And in 2020, it changed to 58 for humans and 47 for machines. And a prediction for 2005 is only 45% for humans and 52% for machines. So this shows basically that machines will take over jobs, slowly but surely affecting the economy.
Now on to businesses. Businesses will make a profit mainly because of the fact of the AI taking up most of the workforce. Since there's no workers, there would be no need to pay them, and therefore the money would just come in like that. There's no human error. The production rates will skyrocket. You could relate this to when Ford made the production line. Never mind. And since there's no risks with AI, and they're able to work 24/7, the digital assistants and the ability to make new inventions and have unbiased decisions and do the jobs that we don't want to do will forward businesses in themselves. As Elon Musk states here, I'm increasingly inclined to think that there should be some regulatory oversight, maybe at the national or international level, just to make sure that we don't do something very foolish. I mean, with artificial intelligence, we're summoning the demon.
The factors to consider for the different outcomes is a decrease in jobs, financial struggles, and economic consequences, increase in job competition, and company employment.
Our solution is AI regulations and limits. So limiting the percentage of workers that are AI, and a certain percent of your workers have to be human. This will help unemployment rate and also limiting where they can work. So only working in maybe non-clinical or manufacturing. This will help employment and reducing the effects of AI entering the workforce.
And then our final conclusion would be AI has a large effects on economy and people. But including this was workers, business, and government. And then we have 3 works cited pages. This is the first one. Then the second one. And then this is the last one. And then that's all.
Nice. Very good. That means that all 3 groups finished within seconds of each other, which I think is pretty funny. Everybody was at like right around the 9:35 mark, which is cool.
Oh.
Yeah. which is great. Nice work. I was a little worried when you told me how many slides you had, but you guys did a very good job of not lingering too long on any of them. And you got through the short ones quickly and spent an appropriate amount of times on the longer one, which is great. All right, so I'm going to pull up the questions again real quick because I forgot to do that first. And I'll just ask these in order of the people down at the bottom of my screen. So, Claire, let me ask, what, if any, elements of one of your teammates' research during this whole process changed the way you thought about the group's conclusion, or changed your mind about your own research?
So, in Jeremiah's, he talks about businesses and everything, and how that'll basically benefit them a lot. And so the solution, when I was thinking about it, it can't just be we make regulations or just new laws with them. It has to be stuff that really would not give businesses too much power and really limit them, because this can't really benefit them if they play their cards right, which you probably will try taking advantage of it. So the solution had to be something that would be strict enough where there's minimum room for errors.
Okay, good. All right. Next up, we have Haley. Let's see. So, Haley, tell me about something that came up during your group work when you guys were bringing together your individual research that as a group you decided to exclude, maybe from your IRRs or from the TMP altogether.
I think what we, as a group, we try to do many solutions. And, like, for example, we said that, like, eventually AI would, like, take over, like, completely. But after many research that we all combined it together, we saw that some of them said that some jobs have to have human intelligence, which was doctors and stuff like that, has to have a human perspective, instead of having a robot that it basically has more of like data and stuff that can't really have like a perspective of a human mind.
Okay, good. All right, and Jeremiah, my question for you is, if you guys had a fourth team member, how do you think that you could have expanded or changed the direction that you guys went in? What might be something else to add to the TMP?
Probably be another lens, and it probably would have been better to be able to space out what slides, who does what, and there'd be another input into it. So the solution probably would have been different. Lots of things could have changed with another person into the mix. So.
Okay. Can you think of a particular lens that maybe one or all of you had considered and then ultimately decided on the one that you went with instead that you might have had them do?
Not that I can think of, to be honest with you.
Okay, that's fine. Kind of put you on the spot there. All right, cool. Well, you guys did a great job. Very happy that these groups have gone 3 for 3 on good presentations. I was a little worried at first, but you guys have assuaged my fears. I do have just a couple of quick notes that I made during the presentation. Do you guys want to hear them? Do you want me to save them for the feedback, or?
We can save them now.
Yeah,
Okay.
I wouldn't mind hearing it.
All right. These are all super minor things.
Can I
Yeah, go ahead.
stop sharing my screen now so you guys can see
Yeah,
me?
sure.
There we go.
Yeah.
Hi.
Perfect. And if, when it comes to time to do the actual one, if we haven't figured out how the other groups were able to do both video and sharing at the same time, I'll have you start on video and then say, okay, now we're going to present, and then start streaming it, and then come right off of it for the question part, just to cover our bases with the College Board, okay? All right, so, and let me reiterate, these are minor nitpicking things. Like, I feel obligated to say something, you know, so that you guys have some stuff to work on. You know, because I want everybody to hit the highest column on all the points on the presentation day. Okay? All right, so Jeremiah, one thing I noticed is that when we switched over to the screen sharing version, and then, you know, up on the screen it's the slideshow and then everybody's little pictures on the bottom. For some reason, this didn't happen with Claire, but it did happen with you. It cut off like the top of you. So for the most of the time, we could see like from your eyes down. I don't know why. Might be something to do with like the portrait mode or whatever. Just something to think about and practice for the next time around. There were a couple of times where you guys did read directly off of the slide, and every group did this, so don't stress about it. But especially with quotes, and I do love a good quote. I did make note, it's too much Elon Musk. But then again, I wake up every morning thinking the world has too much Elon Musk. But, maybe we can, and they were both good quotes, but maybe let's choose the one evil scientist who's not actually good at science quotes to include. It was a good balance with Hawking, though. Yeah, but like if you have a quote, and I told this to the other groups, kind of let it speak for itself. And the way that I've seen it best done is when you're switching between group members, like who's about to start talking, you can use that quote slide as kind of like a transition. And just let the quote speak for itself. I always try to remind people, your audience can read. Nobody's showing up to a professional conference or anything like that incapable of reading. So just let those kinds of things speak for themselves. And one thing that you guys did very well with your slides was your use of visual data. The other groups did not include enough of that. I like that you had graphs and you showed me some actual numbers to back up what you're saying. One of the graphs did have the source information on it down at the bottom. It was too small to read, and I know I can find it in the works cited. Just I would make a point of including it in like a text box at the bottom, just large enough for the person to be able to read. Because you never know, somebody in the audience could be like really taken by that information. They might go on their phone directly to it while you're talking. So we just want to make sure that we have it included there. And then also, if you're going to include data like that, and you should, one of the things that you should do is address the source. Even if it's just briefly, just talk about how recent data from the National Healthcare Association shows blah, 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 or in a government study. You don't have to hyper-analyze where the information came from, but it is helpful for us to know that you recognize where it comes from. So like, let's say, for instance, Netflix does not release information about viewing except for when it makes them look really good. But they'll make claims like, this was the #1 streamed show in America this week. But then they don't offer any data to back that up, so how am I supposed to actually believe anything Netflix says, right? So, just little tidbits like that help to really drive home that you've done analysis on that data. Too much Elon Musk. Can't say that enough. I would just make sure that you're practicing your slides. I know you guys are probably pretty nervous, but just a little bit more fluency when you're talking and presenting. Not enough happened for me to like dock the team a bunch of points or anything like that. Just I know you guys practice. I've been seeing you on there practicing and everything. Yeah, just try not to be nervous. It's just me. All right, and that is it. How do you guys feel?
I'm glad it's done. I was stressing about it.
Okay, that's fair. So what'll happen now is I'm going to, I'll go through that grading process that I described before you started, and I want to try to get everybody's grade issued so that you can start semester 2 next Tuesday. So those of you who might not have everything in, try to get that in as ASAP as possible. But if not, you guys, everybody's going to be starting performance task number 1 officially next week. So even if you aren't necessarily active in semester 2 yet, one thing you can do is just start working with your group, start this whole process over, but choosing a topic of your own. So something that might interest all of you guys. You're gonna choose your own topic, and then perspectives and lenses and all that stuff still, but the topic's entirely up to you. Okay? So you can go ahead and start thinking about that and start pulling research and just brainstorming. That's what you guys are doing for basically the first 2 weeks. Okay? All right. Any other questions or concerns before we go?
Do we submit it on My Learning?
Yeah. Go ahead. Make sure you send me, everyone send me the link to your presentation, or if you have it as a file, submit it, and then also submit your IRRs so I can get those graded too. Okay?
Okay.
And then do you guys mind if I publish this through a private YouTube link so that other teams can see and everybody can...
I don't mind.
It's like you guys.
What?
It's on the team. I don't care.
Okay.
I mean, but I don't want to speak for them, so.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, I'm going to have an activity next semester where you guys have to choose one other group's TMP to try to grade. Yeah, and it'll be anonymous, so it's not like anybody's going to be putting you on blast.
Is it like one group, like all together, not one individual for each group will do it? Does that make sense? Oh.
Yeah, and so that way you guys can have a discussion, like you're going to take the actual rubric, the same one I use, same one the College Board uses, and you're going to evaluate another group's video so that way you can learn the rubric really well. And I firmly believe that'll help you with your own presentations. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Well, again, great job today. You guys are free to go, and I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.